One day in a small town, a local philosophy professor, known for his unique teaching methods, visited a primary school. On the day of his visit, he entered the classroom with a mysterious glint in his eyes and a large empty glass jar under his arm. This instantly caught the children's attention. It was clear that this was not going to be an ordinary school day. The professor placed the jar on the table in front of the students, and then took out a pile of large rocks from under the table, each about the size of a fist. Carefully, he began placing the rocks into the jar one by one until there was no more room. Turning to the class, he asked, "Is this jar full?" Seeing that no more rocks could fit, the students nodded and said yes. But to their surprise, the professor took out a bag of pebbles and started pouring them into the jar, shaking it slightly. The small pebbles filled the gaps between the large rocks. Again, he asked, "Is the jar full now?" Some students began to understand his point and hesitated, but most said again, "Yes, now it's full." Then the professor pulled out a bag of sand and started pouring it into the jar. The tiny grains of sand filled all the remaining spaces between the rocks and pebbles. For the third time, he asked, "Is the jar full now?" The students, catching on, responded, "Probably not." Finally, the professor took out a jug of water and began pouring it into the jar, soaking the sand. Only then did he agree that the jar was truly full. He looked at his students and explained, "I want you to realize that this jar represents your life. The rocks are the important things, your family, health, and friends. Things that, if everything else was lost and only they remained, your life would still be full. The pebbles are the other things that matter, like your job, house, and car. The sand represents the small stuff, the trivial things. If you put the sand and pebbles into the jar first, there's no room for the rocks. The same goes for life. If you spend all your time and energy on the small stuff, you'll never have room for the things that are truly important." He concluded powerfully, "Make sure you put the rocks in first. They are your foundation, your main pillars, your family health dreams. Don't let the pebbles and sand, the secondary tasks, the routine, take their place. At the end of your life, it's the rocks that will define its value and meaning." As the professor finished his speech, a thoughtful student raised her hand and asked, "But what about the water? Where does it fit into our lives?" The professor smiled at her insightful question and replied, "The water. It signifies that no matter how full your life may seem, there's always room for a cup of coffee or tea with a friend. No matter how busy you are, there's always space for small moments of joy, relaxation, and connection with others. In our lives, we often find ourselves juggling between priorities, trying to fit everything into the limited hours of the day. We get so caught up in the hustle and bustle, the small tasks, that we sometimes forget what truly matters. This jar, our life, is not infinite. It has only so much space. If we choose to fill it first with sand and pebbles, the mundane and the peripheral, we leave no room for the rocks, the things of real value and meaning. So I urge you, focus on your rocks first, your family, health, passions, and dreams. These are the aspects of your life that, when everything else is stripped away, will still leave you fulfilled and content. Take care of these precious rocks first. Make time for those you love and care for. Nurture your physical and mental well-being. Pursue your passions fearlessly, and while you do that, never forget to make room for learning, growth, and kindness. And the water, That's the unexpected, the unplanned. That's the coffee with a friend, the spontaneous laughter, the shared moments of joy. Even when life seems so full, there's always room for these. There's always space to connect, to relax, to simply be. Let your life not just be filled to the brim, but rich with experiences that truly matter to you. It's about not just counting the days, but making the days count. Balance the rocks, the pebbles, the sand, and the water in a way that enriches your life and brings you true joy. This is Drivcraft. Thank you for watching. Until next time, remember to prioritize your rocks and make every moment count.